Everybody, welcome back. We're doing another Marvel Future Revolution video. In this one, we are going to be talking about transmutation gear specific before and after. What I mean by that is I took a bunch of gear and transmuted to a bunch of different tunes. I'm gonna look at my power before and after, see the difference and kind of talk about that. So I had the opportunity to do this in some videos a while back. I now kind of want to analyze that and share with you guys. Is this really worth it? Is this something that you think that you really need to do? Or are there other aspects that if you're not able to do that too, this doesn't really matter? Okay, so let's dive into it. If you're new to the channel, check out the Discord link in the description below. Easiest way to follow on content. If you want to hammer down like buttons, all that sort of thing, always appreciate you. All right, let's go.
Bring me WolverThor!
So in this video, we're talking about the power of transmutation and taking the gear that you've got and making sure that you don't just leave stuff in storage. So I'm showing you right now, this is the front end of that. So I have just got what I got on my characters, you know, and this is mainly through before transmuting. We'll do some badge stuff and card stuff maybe later, but just purely transmuting gear. This is my power. So Doctor Strange, and you can see the levels, and I'll be leveling up some between the time I'm shooting this and some other times in the future. But you should still get an idea of what to do and how much power you can chase. So Doctor Strange, 185k. My Magic's 532. She's actually the one I'm currently working on leveling as I'm shooting this video. I'm hoping that I can get something done there. Storm, 667. Spider-Man, 728. Captain America, 777. Captain Marvel, 723. Star-Lord, 846. And then Scarlet Witch, you can't do anything with at the moment anyway, so 14. My Widow, I'm not touching her right now, 17. Iron Man, though, I will be getting a set of gear on. He's at 929. So now let's see where this ends up. So you guys just saw where I had my gear prior to transmutation. You know, obviously the gold I spent, what was that again? How much gold did I spend on that? It was like 20, almost 22 mil. So a lot of gold to switch over. And it was basically 7 tunes that I switched over. Some of them a little bit more than others, but you know, you get the idea. So my Doctor Strange now is up to 448, 662. Magic 713, 478. Spider-Man 769, 612. Storm 864, 398. Captain America 871, 521. Captain Marvel 895, 985. Star-Lord I didn't touch. Can't touch Scarlet Witch. Iron Man jumped to a whopping 1.551, 917. Now this one in particular is interesting because so my Widow, she was in the 1.6 to 1.8ish range in my Midgardia. So there's still 100 to 300k difference in that between my Iron Man, and that's going to lead us into where we're going to get by the end of this video. And then obviously Black Widow I didn't touch either because she was what she is. So I've got a little chart off to the side here. You guys don't necessarily have to see it. It just has a row of numbers that was before and after, and then how much I gained. So in Captain America, I gained 94,000 power. Captain Marvel, I gained 172,000. Doctor Strange, 163,000. Iron Man, I gained the most with 623,000. Magic, 180,000. Spider-Man, only 41,000. I think I just had one piece I upped on him. Storm, 197,000. So the total gain through my entire roster was 1.471285. So that's 1,471,285 with an average per tune of about 210,000. So power wise, you know, that doesn't 210k average doesn't seem like a ton, you know what I mean? Especially when you're talking about these levels. Like, what am I now going to be able to do with these characters? There's not a lot, really, honestly. I was a little disappointed where I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, I've got all these characters and I'm gonna, you know, for this video, I'll show you guys a bit as I'm just talking here, but I didn't really get all that excited about, you know, where they ended up because I'm like, what can I use here? Like Captain Marvel, gain 172k. All right, now there's a lot of other things I can still do. Like there's 105 badges here. You can see her gear. She's got a couple Midgardia pieces at 6, but 2, 4, Midgardia. I could actually upgrade that to there, but it's not. I wanted to just keep the Midgardia bonus. So I start wondering, like, okay, well, what else? There's certainly specializations. There's enhanced potential that I could do. I mean, you can see these aren't very built up. Specializations, there's nothing here, so I could build that up. And then Omega cards. So I've got some cards on her, but maybe they're not the greatest. They're 4s, etc. And it's like, okay, maybe I find ways to work around that. So is gear the most important type of thing to do? That's where I start going, you know what? I actually think that Omega cards are technically the thing that's going to give you the most power. And I think that's why we might never, ever get that thing that I wanted to try to get, which was the squad wide card set. That maybe you can't change or that the exclusive stat is still solo for whatever the card is, but you could still place those cards on everybody. Because I don't feel like, I mean, it's going to be so hard for me to get, like, these badges aren't bad. It's like, okay, I actually have 115 badges on here. That's pretty solid. But I don't have anything, you know, well, let's see. Like, so I've got level 5 gear, and what did I put on her? Oh, yeah, I just switched a little bit. I think some New Stark City and some is Hydra, if I remember, or Xanderth. You know, random set. But as I come through here, you know, let's see. Enhanced potential. You know, yeah, she's got almost nothing. Specialization, there's going to be nothing. And then Omega cards, do I even have it? Yeah, I mean, I guess I could equip, that, I guess, just, it's something. So I get a little bit more power there, but you can see my cards are just sort of random 5 stars. And honestly, like, the amount of fodder that you need, and you can see all of the exclusive stats are just kind of whoever. There's a Storm one, but it's PvP, Black Widow. So they're not all that important for this particular character that are on. So, is it worth transmuting? Yeah, I mean, because you need to. But if you're really trying to build the power of a character, I think you really need to, and this is for anything, and I've said this in some of my build guide videos, is that you're going to want to have Omega cards that are pretty good. You know, this guy doesn't even have badges on him, so that's one thing I got to, you know, go figure out and get him up a little bit higher as is. But I just wanted to, I left everything else the same except for the gear. And I guarantee, again, you know, there's some potential here. I haven't really done a whole lot. Specializations, I guarantee, yep. It's just like, and we don't get enough of this stuff to actually put this on all of our different tunes. You just straight up don't get it. My skills, I think I have generally built up, maybe. I don't even know. And I forget if these actually give you power, but, you know, they're semi-built up. So I would still transmute gear. I think that while I spent 20 million gold on it to transmute it to the characters, and you know, now as I'm looking at this, especially like, as you can see, we're on step 14. When I'm shooting this video, it is a Tuesday. So we're on step 14, and we haven't done our night run yet. We still have to do our night run. On a Tuesday, we've got to step 14. And I am already at the point where it's at 1 point, let's just call it 2 million at step 14. So, you know, in one day, I'm basically limited to, you know, who do I have above 1.1, 1.2? I've got 3 characters: Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, and Iron Man. That's it. So if you are I'd say semi-end game type player, I wouldn't stress about it too much. And even if you're not, like, if you're I'd say earlier game player or free to play type player, I'd still only focus on one tune and get them up. It might not be great for the alliance pushing, but in the end of the day, it'll help you guys get further ahead. Don't try to, I've always said, don't spread yourself too wide. Make sure you get something solid first, get that good foundation, and then if you can, come out a little bit. You know, build that roster a little bit as you can, but don't go too wide, because then you're gonna have weak stuff across the board. I know some players who are really good, they actually take all of their regional gear, all of it, and put it on one character, meaning they use it as fodder. So all of the stuff that I just transmuted everywhere, they would have used that for fodder to get to more 6 stars and nano pieces, which honestly isn't a bad idea. They crush game modes. They do very well. They're one of the best players that I see out there. And they wanted to play an MMO, which is part of the reason why we're here. Now, I do not encourage people to do this, because I don't want to try to get a hero collector. It's not what this game was meant to be, and I think Netmarble is going to get a lot of outrage for it. I know everybody likes new characters, but, you know, when you're trying to play an MMO, it's not necessarily what you don't want a ton of characters to play all the time, at least not for me. You know, if I had a gear set that I could apply to each character, Meaning like whatever I had on my main Black Widow, if whatever I have on this can be used on everybody and applies, okay, cool. No problem there. Now, is that all their MMOs work? Not necessarily, but you know how hard it is to get gear in this game. You know, like even when I played World of Warcraft, I remember my alt I barely used. I couldn't use my alt in our true endgame raids because I didn't have the time to build it up. So is it really worth doing that stuff? I think it depends what situation you're in. I mean, I'm certainly not upset I did it. I was hoping I'd get more out of it than what I did. You know, look, I'm going to go through and try to find badges and put some badges on some of these different characters to make sure they have the highest peak. I want to try to get all my characters. You can see their levels to at least 115. And then once I get them all to 115, I've only got Magic and Doctor Strange left. I'll then get the rest of these guys to 120. And then from 120, at least I know I can use the latest badges until we get a level cap, of course. But yeah, so if you're stressed about transmuting your gear, I wouldn't necessarily worry about it. You know, have what I call a gear mule that you're going to drop. Spider-Man's actually my gear mule that he's got all of these. You can see all the different sets over here. You know, all of this stuff is regional type things. That's all of this is. You know, and I've got some other pieces, other places, but some of this stuff that's 3-star, it's just, you can't transmute it anyway. And I'm not going to waste fodder on building that up. But at some point, you know what? I might want a Sakaar nano piece. So why would I waste this? I don't know. I'm not gonna. You know what I mean? And, you know, Savage Shadowlands, it's terrible now. But one thing I've learned in this game is something might not be useful early on, but the game might find a way to make it useful later on. So I'm not necessarily getting rid of that stuff. So I hope this video has been somewhat helpful for you. If you're going to take anything away from it, I would say don't stress too much about transmuting all over the place. It might not get you super far, or it might hurt you a little bit in alliance raids, but unless you're in that 1-2, 1-3, 1-4 range, it's not really going to affect you that much. And frankly, to get a character to 1-3, 1-4, 1-5 is not easy. It is really, really difficult. So I would not stress about it. I think it's probably fine to have 3- and 4-star sets of gear. If you really get to the point where you want to expand your roster, maybe throw some of your cards on them. Definitely do your badges because we get so many of those. That's easy to spread around. But I wouldn't stress transmuting everywhere. So yeah, that's what I got. I really wanted to do sort of this transmute video just to kind of talk about like, what does it take? You know, how much gold? You know, what do you get? Is it worth it after all of this? Is it worth it? You know, I'm going to say no. You're going to force me to answer? Fine. I'm going to say no. It is not worth it. At some point, at a certain threshold, I think it might be. If you're an alliance that's lower, sure. But generally speaking, I don't think so. It's fine to transmute to your main or a character you want to play around with. But other than that, it's there for more fun. So anyway, appreciate you guys making it this far. Thank you. Let me know what you think about this. Reasons you might like or dislike transmute, or doing something like what I did in this, seeing if the power was worth it before and after. It was something I just wanted to talk about and share with you guys. I'll definitely have this in like a guide or in my beginners playlist section. So share with any of your friends who might be beginners who have questions about transmuting. All right. So until next time, after you hammer down the like button, I hope you have a wonderful day.